The Bears fans, I want to talk to you guys real quick. I want to speak to fellow Bears fans. Can we agree to stop buying tickets to the games? Can we just all come together and agree on one thing? The McCaskey family that owns Chicago Bears does not care about the team being successful. So can you just make a deal with me that we're not going to buy tickets to go see them until they are good? I'm not telling you you can't watch them on TV. I'm not telling you you cannot support them. But I am saying, can we just please, for the love of God, stop attending the games so that they have to make a change, because they do not care about anything except for money. And the team is so bad, so bad. And the Bears did play, the Bears played fine. They did not play good by any means in this game against the Packers. They played all right. The Packers played really bad for what they normally play, which I would be a little nervous if I'm a Packer fan, because I'd heard that they were treating that game like a must-win going into that game, and that the Packers coaching staff had all the players watching footage from years past of all the better rivalry games and all tons of stuff, getting them ready. They were like, this is a must-win. We have to win this, because they hadn't won a division game yet. So for that to be your must-win effort, that does make me nervous, going into the last half of the season here. So I would be nervous if I'm a Packer fan. You guys are in much better shape than we are, but it's still something to be a little weary of. Caleb Williams, I thought, played fine. I don't know how many fucking plays that dude saved, running for his life. And I don't know how many dudes he makes miss a week running for his life, and people still got the audacity to make fun of his fingernails. He's saving. I know he's doing it for himself out of self-preservation, but my God, he has saved his own life at least 30 times this season, because his offensive line, they want him to die, it looks like. And Matt Eberflus wants me to die, and every other Bears fan, because I do not understand this guy. I don't understand it. I don't claim to be a football expert. I love football. I've watched football my whole life, as tons of other dudes have in the U.S. I played football for some time in my life. I care about the Bears. I want them to do good. I was able to tune them out for a long time. I got real excited off the Caleb Williams hype and decided to come back in this season, and I'm regretting it to the fullest. But please tell me why. We talked about it a couple weeks ago, about how the coach Matt Eberflus did not care about the plays leading up to the Hail Mary, which we essentially let them set up for the Hail Mary. And we're just going to bank on the last play. Please, for the love of God, explain to me why we did not try to get any closer for a game-winning field goal after, again, Caleb Williams made some spectacular plays to get us into field goal range at the end of that game. I believe it's 2nd and 6 now, or 2nd and 8. We just ran the ball up the middle. We still have a timeout left, and there's 50-some seconds. We could easily run the ball up the middle one more time, try to get, what if he gets 6 yards? What if he picks up the first down, you spike it, you run it up the middle one more time. All of a sudden, now you're 16, 17 yards closer. Obviously, this is a big hypothetical. Those are some nice runs. But you get that much closer, then you call the timeout. And then your kicker, for people who don't understand, the Bears lost off a blocked kick, a blocked field goal. The further away you are, when you have to kick something a great distance, I don't know how, advanced some of us are in math class, but the further away you are, the more of a lower angle that's going to have to start at, because it's got to go further, right? If I'm closer to the target, I can kick it higher, because I do not have to go as far distance-wise. And if I can kick it higher, it is more difficult for a giant man to block, right? So it's insane to watch these guys. Why are we not trying to get any closer? In Madden, dude, it's impossible to block a field goal. But in Madden, I could still fuck a field goal up by just messing my right thumb on the stick, right? I am trying to get closer because I don't trust myself doing that on the fucking joystick. But this man has to kick in the windy city of Chicago a 47-yard kick. His max is like, what is it, like 55? 53, 55? And we're just going to settle for this is 8 yards higher. So it's like, I'm sure it looked like it was going in if he would have, I can't even say that. I'm sure it would have gone in had it not been blocked. I'm going to give him the credit. But why wouldn't you want to be safer and make it, a 35-yard field goal? What are we doing, man? Like, what is the logic? Like, we could get closer. Nah, let's just run it out. Let's just give it a shot. We'll just save it for the last play. See what happens. Like, I think he just wants to get fired. And I don't feel bad for him if he does. I'm sure it's difficult to coach in a big market city. I do think that's something that I'm not envious of. Like, Chicago sports is tough. We're one of the biggest cities. I know all of our teams suck ass because we have terrible ownership across most of the teams. But it would, even if you were successful, it's a big market, so there's a lot of press. You're going to be scrutinized and asked a million questions. I understand that that's tough. But God, that dude is not handling it well and not responding well. And I feel really bad for Caleb Williams, and it sucks because now we're going to have the same thing that we have always had, where we fire the head coach and then bring in a new head coach who did not draft that starting quarterback and then is not going to like that start. It's sort of like you are stepping into what you have, and it's like, well, this is what I was given. This isn't what I was building. So, Eberflus and Ryan Poles drafted Caleb Williams, and I don't see them holding onto their jobs much longer. So, they only had 3 seconds. They only had 3 seconds because they let it get to that point. They had 50 seconds, and they ran the clock out to do that. They could have done it. They stopped the clock at 3 seconds to get the kickoff. But yeah, it's just bad. It's bad to be a Bears fan. And to prove how bad it is and prove how bad this guys, I just want to read a couple things to you for people that don't understand football, or if you know a sport, you guys know sports at all, right? Wins and losses matter. You should win more than you lose to be considered good, right? The head coach of the Bears, Matt Eberflus, is 14-30 as a head coach of the Bears. 14 wins, 30 losses. Never beaten the Packers. Has not beaten them. Just hasn't done it. As far as I'm aware, I believe the Packers head coach, because the Packers head coach is 11-0 against us now. So 0-11 to that guy. He's never won a Sunday game on the road. And in case you guys weren't familiar with the NFL, just about 90% of the games happen on Sundays. So he has yet to win a Sunday football game not at Soldier Field. So that's sad. And this is another thing I want to say real quick. He's 5-17. And when I say he, subsequently the Bears, since he's taken over since 2022, is 5-17 in games that are decided by one score. So in games that could go either way. Why does that matter? Because these are the most talented people in the world at this thing. Regardless, even the worst, player on the worst team in the NFL, people don't play pickup football, but if there was such a thing, would murder people. Like the worst offensive lineman in the NFL could probably pick your car up. Like these guys are scary. And so it's a difficult job to keep these people on the same page and to bring people together because there are so many different talents and egos and different skill levels even at this high level and all these different things. But these are winnable games. Of games that were winnable, that were not like you're playing a team that's just completely outclassed you or you just had a completely off day, where you get blown out or you lose by a couple touchdowns, whatever. These are winnable games that the Bears have a chance to win, where coaching matters because when you're taking your timeouts, when you're deciding to throw the challenge flag, when you're deciding to go for it or not go for it on fourth down, these things matter. He's 5-17. He's bad. He's bad. He's just bad. Every time he's thrown the challenge flag this year, I don't think he's won a single challenge this year. I've watched all the games. I'm pretty sure he hasn't won a challenge this year, and I could be wrong. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think he's won a challenge. And think about it, and the reason I bring it up is because you think about what I just said a couple minutes ago about we have 50-some seconds left, and we just got into field goal range. If you had 2 fucking timeouts, then you could quite easily run the fucking ball up the middle, call a timeout, run it up one more time, call another timeout. Don't even have to risk getting back to the line and spiking it. Because we had 1 timeout left and we called it at 3 seconds. We let the clock run out to 3 seconds. We called it. We could have instead called a timeout, ran a play, called another timeout, then kicked it. Whatever. Anything. But we didn't. We couldn't. It's bad. It's tough. It's hard. It's hard to be a Bears fan, and I do a lot of therapy, and I'm working on. We talked with the therapist last week. She's on the shirt right now, about acceptance, and I've been working on radical acceptance in therapy, for real stuff, not for sports. But I think it's time as Bears fans we just accept that that's what it is. I mean, I feel like for the most part, most of us know that. There's still some people with some delusion. But I'm just accepting it. All right, we have to accept it, and I'm begging you, don't buy tickets to the games. Let the family that owns the Bears go out of business. Let them, and they won't, but just let them hurt. That's the only way that they will care is if we don't go to the games. So please just don't go to the games until they are good. That's all we can do is vote with our wallet at that point.
Hey, thanks for watching there, guy. Click right over here if you want to see that episode in its entirety. Or you can click over here and subscribe to the channel. See all the other fun shit we do here. It's really up to you, guy.